Welcome to another edition of Grizz Classics Chalk Talk. Of course, we have the usual suspects in here as far as Coach Hauck and a couple of Grizzly legends. You can see them on the screen right now. Reynolds, Colt Bergquist, and Colt Anderson all joining us. Today's game that we're going to review, the 2008 semifinal win against James Madison. Memorable for a lot of different reasons. I think a lot of adversity for the Grizz. First off, even getting there, short week across the country. So many things I know we're going to get into. But Coach Hauck, I'll start you off with this one. You talk about this game a ton. When we go back and down memory lane, this one you've got some affinity for, that's for sure.
Yeah, this was a huge game for a lot of reasons. And, you know, when you talk big picture, it's really the only road playoff game win in the history of the school. And they're hard to get, first of all. And it shows, like, if you look what's going on in today's FCS football with North Dakota State, they schedule. I mean, their schedule is set up for them, if they can get through their league, to have all home playoff games. I mean, they only schedule big boys on the road. Everybody else comes to them. Scheduling's huge in terms of getting home playoff games, which is where we're headed in our program again, back to like when these guys were playing. But let's ask these guys their memory of this game, and then I'll set it up for you a little bit.
Chase, what stands out for you? I mean, they continued to just feed you the ball game in, game out, play in, play out. What stands out from this game more than anything else?
Yeah, this was a special game, man. I remember it, under the lights is obviously special anytime you get to play. But what I really remember is just being cold. I mean, I think I want to say it was probably 40 degrees, and we didn't think it was that cold. But none of us, or most of us, hadn't been to the East Coast over this way when that humidity just bites you. But it was an awesome game. I think I did peek through the film a little bit, and Cole played a heck of a game. And, it was definitely a special night. Good win. Lots of turnovers. And, it was just fun to go back.
Hey, real quick, you're talking about the cold, Chase. Do you remember the walkthrough at the stadium the night before?
I don't think so.
So we went out there. The reason you don't remember is we walked out there. We were out there all of 30 seconds. And I said, let's get the hell out of here. It was 33 degrees or something, and it was raining 2 inches an hour.
Yeah.
Everybody was soaked in about 15 seconds, and we had never – I mean, you guys know how it was. We had never –
That doesn't sound like you.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, right.
We went out there. I called you up to midfield. I said, let's get the hell out of here, which everybody was in favor of.
Cold as ice, man.
Well, Cole, we'll welcome you in. First off, thanks for joining us on Grizz Classics Chalk Talk. 35-6 as a starter. I wanted to make sure I threw that in there for your introduction. But your favorite memory from this game?
I think it was everything leading up to the game, and then like just the atmosphere, because we kind of went in as an underdog. They were rated higher than us, and it was the first time that we really, got to play in a packed atmosphere that wasn't Washington Grizz. And I think our team fed off that. And I think it was my favorite road game we ever played. I mean, possibly my favorite game I ever played in anyway, but just the fact that, playing in the FCS for Montana, you're so used to having a home crowd, but then it kind of lacks when you're on the road. And, they had a good operation going there.
And Colt, the defense, we talked about it when we were going through the game against the neighbors last time out, but you guys were on a roll. Allowed just 8 touchdowns in a 9-game span since the loss to Weber State. We're rolling. What stands out, I guess, from a defensive standpoint? You had to go up against a pretty darn good quarterback here tonight.
Yeah, no, that's definitely what stood out is we were struggling defensively, and we had a hard time getting off the field, and their quarterback was probably one of the hardest guys in college I had to tackle. I mean, he was put together, and he was running hard, and like I said, I mean, we just couldn't get off the field. But like I said yesterday, that was what was really special about our team is when our defense wasn't clicking, our offense was clicking, and we picked each other up, and that night our offense and our special teams picked up the defense, because we had a hard time getting those guys off the field. So that's kind of what sticks out for me.
Coach, you had everything going up for. You're going up against a Walter Payton candidate, but the turnover margin, +4 in the turnover margin. I know we'll get into that as the tape starts rolling here.
Yeah, let's take a look here.
Tonight, the top-ranked and top-seeded Dukes will host Montana.
I didn't realize we were number 5 seed.
Yeah, they were number 1.
Wow.
I can't believe we missed HD by 1 year. My kids are going to think I'm way older. My kids are going to think I'm way older than I am.
Yeah, well, hey, when you get old, man, it makes you look a little bit better. But so there it was. There it was. And I thought Richmond was probably the even though they were unseeded, I thought they were like the second best team.
Yeah.
How was it going on a short week? We mentioned it again, though. I mean, you guys played Friday night here and had to travel East Coast. What was the travel schedule like going into this?
11 straight Big Sky championships.
Just a blur. Everything happens quickly, you know, and Coach Hauck kept us pretty busy.
Turn up the volume of the TV. Yeah, so this is the way this thing's set up. They were number 1 in the country. You guys have mentioned Rodney Landers, the quarterback, was, I think probably the best player in the country. He was, as Colt mentioned, tough to tackle. He could throw it. He could run. He's big and physical. But they were really good. And we're going to see some clips in here. They were really good. They were really confident. Their head coach is a good buddy of mine. And we spent a significant amount of time together. In fact, we went to Afghanistan the year after this to support the troops together. But before this game, I mean, they were good. They knew they were good, and they thought they were going to kick our ass. So it was it's going to be sweet to watch this one play out.
A reminder, 11 straight Big Sky championships. They've been in these playoffs for 16 straight.
What are you thinking right there, Coach? What do you think?
He looks calm and like he's having fun, but he's not.
I remember pregame how big their band was.
Everything. They claim to have the best band in the country, and they do probably outside of the Big Ten. Their band director came from Montana.
Well, no kidding.
Oh, wow.
He's been there for 20 years now.
So we'll take some credit.
There he is.
Look at that hair.
Way.
Thank God it's cut.
I know. That was nasty.
Took your power, man.
Yeah. There's something about it. It's hard to cut it.
So this was the dude, man. This is the guy that we've been talking about, Rodney Landers, number 7. And, this was 3rd and 4. This is a big play to start the game. I know it's the whole game's in front of us, but we got him tackled here. No one tackled him very well. Corwin and Stadnick made a great play, and we held him to a field goal. So we're down 3-0 there, and we get a couple first downs, and then Cole, I'm going to remind you and let you talk through this, but we used to call it's a spot route. We used to call it Boise, which we're going to get 2 slant routes from the outside here, and then we're going to get old Chase in the flat. And we ran the heck out of this in 3rd and short to medium, and one of the reasons we ran it is you did a really nice job of seeing it and getting it to the right spot. So it's kind of a zone flood route, a little bit, not really a flood route, but it's a spot route. Boise.
Well, we had a lot of plays like this where once you are in sync with your receivers, and that takes years, then you kind of know where they're going to end up, and they have some freedom to move around a little bit rather than just a stiff route. And Mark just settled up on that one in the right spot, right below or right past the line of scrimmage, the first down line. Yep.
Now this one, I always thought. Now you always said you could run.
Yeah.
So you when asking our boy Bergie, he could never figure out why we didn't run him more. And I think you had a couple of games in your career, this being one of them. I think I want to say Portland State, where we put in lead quarterback draw for you, but you didn't get enough credit for being as good a runner as you are. And I thought you always had a great feel in the pocket for knowing when they were by you, and then you had the ability to get out and go a little bit.
Oh, I appreciate that.
Better get that ball up high and tight.
He was well-versed, just like you were. We're going to see you reach it here in a little bit.
Yeah,
I could have been doing some push-ups for that one for sure.
So, again, Cole converts the first down, and we're down 3-0. It's our first real movement with the offense. This stretch lead play where we're pulling the play side guard and either the center on back to the backside, and then leading our fullback up in there, stretch lead play. That was kind of our, as we mentioned last week, the play we were going to lead on. And those boys up front are big. They are getting on them. And Chase, you did a really nice job here.
Yeah, I don't know if we installed this play maybe mid-season, but I want to say it was like an inside zone bounce play.
It was. In fact, I think we called it bounce.
Yeah, I think it was 5-2 bounce or something like that.
5-2 or 7-2 bounce.
Yeah. So I really like this play because we'd run that inside zone and just have that little bounce outside, and then just taking it down and then try to punish that guy at the end and let him know I was here to stay. So
well, that was going to be my point, man. One, we didn't. You were never told to run out of bounds.
Never,
ever.
Told to put it on those DBs like Colt and spring ball and get after them, toughen them up a little bit. Yeah. But I thought this was a great play because this, to me, as a moment in the game was the minute these guys had to say, "Hey, boys, we came to play," and they had to realize it was right here.
Yep.
Take that.
Yeah, he's a pretty big boy too.
That's it.
Yeah. Hey, they won the pregame warm up now. I guarantee you that.
Yeah.
That happened to us a lot though.
Yeah, we're always hey, don't look down there. We'll be all right once they kick it off. Don't look down there. Except for our front, the big boys are getting after him. You can see on this one. So this is like they stopped us on a couple of plays, but they got them all down in there. There's all 11 of them.
Yeah.
Are down in there. We don't have anybody for a couple of these guys. So we were in the same exact play that we just hit them on, and that's called you knew when you get to that unblocked backer and safety that you're going to have to run them over and get it in, and
yep.
That's just pad level isn't just for front guys and defense. It's good pad level by our back getting it in.
Yep, everybody's on the same thing. Me one-on-one, it's my job to beat him. So that's, I was kind of had a knack for maybe sneaking in the end zone a little bit more than I should have. And
it's a good knack to have.
Yeah.
And that'd be selling it's kind of short just a little bit. You just a knack for finding the end zone.
Just fell in it once in a while. You'll see on the next touchdown, I did fall into it. Rolled over a couple players to get in, but.
That was a good drive by you, 14. I like here. So Brock Hewer's the color guy. He's talking about how big and physical we are.
We were. That's what I remember about their team is, they were a little undersized, but their front, their offense and defensive front, were quick and strong guys.
They were strong and thick. They have a good weight room. They still have a good weight room there. They did in 2004 when we played them, and they will this next year when we play them.
Do you guys think that we could take any credit for springboarding Brock Hewitt's career a little bit? This one might have put him on the map, huh? He's had a pretty good career after this.
Hey, so after the canceled walkthrough, he was over at the hotel at my room, and we gave him everything. He had notes on everything. He's sort of like Riley cheating on Saturday. He's got all the inside scoop.
The only way to do it.
So we go down, take the lead. We're up 7-3, and then obviously this was a huge play.
I remember watching this turnover.
Now this returner was special, like ours. This cat was absolutely special. I was scared to death of this dude.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I love what Colt. You can talk a little bit about it. What's the effort level of the Grizzlies?
Well, when it came to special teams for the Montana Grizzlies, that was not a play we took off, and in fact,
No.
We took great pride in it. And when the head coach is the special teams coach, there's no excuse to take a play off. But look at those guys celebrating. That's what it was all about. We called it partying on the pile, and you know, anytime a guy made a play, there's going to be 11 hats around the ball, and that's right there. That's a prime example of that.
That is awesome. This was another, hey, boys, we came to play minute.
Hey, talking about our head coach being our special teams coach, I don't know if it was this year or the next year, but I recall our kicker getting kicked out of a meeting for showing up 3 minutes late and not, or 3 minutes early and not 5 minutes early.
That's embellished.
He's always had a special place in his heart for the kickers.
Oh, yeah.
I love those guys. You know, they break down at the end of practice every day still with their breakdown is damn kickers on 3.
Yeah, I remember that.
So we move it on down in here, and then again, same play. Pull the play side guard, pull the backside uncovered, lead with the fullback, and the big boys are doing it. Look at Failer just mauling this guy. Dow's out there running. Failer's mauling him. Dow's running. It's awesome.
Nice little rollover tie.
Oh, nice.
Don't ever
Out
stress
here.
the ball out unless you know you can score a touchdown.
Out here, right here, Ty Palmer, wide receiver, doing the dirty work.
Yep.
Freak.
I actually think that's our now current athletic director, Ken Haslam down there fired up.
That is him.
Really?
That's awesome. I hadn't noticed that.
Wow.
Oh, that's awesome.
Good times.
All 200 Grizz fans.
We felt them.
Just a layered route. Levels, we got the tight end coming short. We got the post route coming from the boundary here, and then Mark running the dig from the field. And you can watch up at the top here, these backers. Our run game was good. And you can see these guys biting on the play action here. It's a good fake, obviously. Cole, so go ahead and talk through it.
I remember just barely getting this one off. We looked left. I hung on it a little longer than I wanted to. And then I felt like I almost crow hopped it. Mark was just open for a split second, running full speed. And this one, I remember this one really set off our offense. Like we were pretty fired up after this.
Well, I talked about they had a really good defense, and I talked about how well they could run. And Mark looks fast in this clip, but look, there's 6 guys chasing him. They all look like these guys had dudes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they could run, that's for sure.
So they move it down in there. Obviously, this is you can see the clock. There's 5 minutes left in the first half, and they have scored a touchdown, so we're only up by 4, and they've moved it down in there. And this was big. So we make a good stop.
Is that Pallure?
That's Pallure. You're going to see a little more of Pallure here.
There you go.
So,
Tackle.
yeah, and the one thing I'd say about that, you're going to see Ty Pallure come up with the fumble recovery here. But one of the things that I think was a hallmark of our teams was that we weren't afraid to play guys.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Cole, you were an All-American player and absolutely great. We weren't afraid when you needed a break. We gave you a break, and we were confident in our young guys being able to make plays and hold the rope.
Absolutely.
And so 4:40 left, 2nd and 9. Huge play in the game.
Huge.
There he is. 2 big plays by Pallure back to back. That's awesome. We had a big end of the half. Now you can see they get it back, have it in positive territory. There's 30 seconds left in the half, and we had a big finish. And Colt, like you said, they were moving the ball on us, but we had a big end of the first half on defense. And there's going to be an interception here on the post route by Andrew Swink right up here. That this is as good a play as you'll see. That is a heck of a play. We're in 3 deep zone coverage or man free. Actually, man free here. Colt, you're coming out of the middle. We were tilting coverage, mixing it up with our safeties a little bit. Ends up in man free, and Swink made a heck of a play. I mean, that's a one-handed playing the
heck of a
ball
play.
over his back and through him, no pass interference. That is a heck of a play.
And the timing, right before halftime. Get you
20
fired up
seconds
going
left.
into the locker.
Yeah, that was huge having, Andrew and Keith came, I think right before the season started. We were a little low on corners and those guys stepped up and, they took Tremaine under their wing and
They did. They
it was
came in.
great being those guys as teammates.
Yeah, they came in. Both guys loved it here. I've seen them both in recent years. They're great dudes. They came in from junior college, as you said, to start training camp, made their way, kind of took leadership roles in the corner room, and I don't know what we would have done without them.
Yeah. It was scary going into the year. We were a little thin there.
So right here we've got this is obviously 2nd and 3. We've moved the ball. This is our first drive of the second half, and this is where we kind of got away from them. And Chase, I'll let you talk through this, but this is my favorite play in the entire game because I remember the discussion on. We had it in the playbook, the game plan for the game, and we were kind of waiting for the right situation. We wanted it to be a high red zone, just outside the red zone play because we wanted to score it. And you can talk us through it.
Yeah, no, I think it's good fake and then coming through there. I think that's a D. I don't know if who's on me, the DN.
Well, so what happens is that you got to find your way out. In theory, we want you to wheel out here and go. The defensive end gets up the field here, and you have to adjust your course. The backer's got you man to man, and he kind of stumbles up in here. And we would have been wide ass open, except for you had to pick a new route to get loose. So anyway, here we go.
Yeah, no, I remember that kind of dipping in, and then he was right there, and it was basically a foot race to get back outside. And man, Cole just puts it on the money right there. Great throw.
Well, and here's the thing I like, Cole. You can talk about the throw a little bit, but you have to play action it. We look like we're rolling into the boundary, and then you have to get your feet set so you can deliver. That's a long throw down the field. And I can remember on the headphones saying, we got him. And then I'm thinking, okay. And I know you're probably thinking, okay, just don't overthrow it. We got backer on Chase. Make it happen.
Well, these are my favorite kind of plays because I only have one option. So I could keep my eyes looking to the boundary left as long as I want. And I know that I'm throwing it up to Chase no matter what and just trying to put it in a spot where he could make a play on it and the guy covering him couldn't. And, to have a running back with some hands is a major weapon.
It's that little time I spent wide receiver,
Exactly. Coaching genius, right?
Yep.
Hey, from a defensive perspective there, it's rare that you see a quarterback be able to roll, opposite of his arm. So, credit to Cole how he's able to roll out to his left and then throw back, like you said, Coach, to his across his body. That's a phenomenal play.
Takes a little time. The play action frozen in the front did a good job. So, as I mentioned, this is kind of where we got away from them. So we're up 2010, and we're going to kick off. And, like I said, they had the best kickoff return team in the country, except maybe ours. And I think numbers-wise, they were better. And we were the kid that fumbled the first one. We were going to kick away from him most of the night. The first one that we recovered, actually, the kicker mishit it, and it was supposed to go away from that dude, and it didn't. So we kick it away. We hit it short here, and this is a heck of a deal. So this is an unbelievably good play by Featherston. We kick it to the up guy. He comes off the backside. You can see him. He not only strips it, but he gets up, recovers it, and stays in bounds. That's an unbelievable play by Ryan Featherston.
Boy, that's a ground on fire.
He had a motor.
Right.
He had a motor.
That's awesome. Would he have been a freshman then?
Freshman or sophomore.
Yeah, he looks about $180.
Yeah.
As he's the typical high school Montana guy, skinny guy we brought in, and all of a sudden he got big.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. He was a hell of a player.
I mean, you look at those guys in that picture. So you got Stahl, you got McSurdy, you have Feather. They're all guys that are, nobody knew who those guys were.
Right. They're awesome.
Ballers.
So we're at 3rd and 4 here. And, this is after that, and we need points. We're up by 11. We're going to take the field goal here if we don't get it, which is not what we want. So what we're going to do is we've got Mark out here, single the field. They're tilting coverage to him a little bit, as they should. Leading receiver. We're going to bring Ty across in motion. We're going to play action. We're going to hit him on a little spot route out here with the flat and the Y sail route. So go ahead, Bergie. It's all yours.
I got to see the play. Oh, I remember. Okay. So I think that
it's just power. It's power pass, man.
Yeah, we saw a little void over there, and I knew that it was going to open up quick. And we were actually, because we were on the, 15, 16-yard line, I knew that we could run out of space on this. So I just had to kind of flip my hips quick and get rid of it and throw to that open void.
So we liked the formation with the reverse motion, right? And I think, by tendency, we actually thought this dude was supposed to run with Ty there, and I think he was supposed to actually, because they're in man, and he stops, and you still fit it in there.
Yep.
Our tight ends were good. Big catch by Failer, man.
Yeah.
They were.
Block like hell and catch when they needed to.
I just remember feeling like up 17 that we still didn't have it in the bag. Like we were doing good, but there was just, even till the last play, well, obviously they start to come back a little bit towards the end, but I remember the whole time just feeling a little more stressed than most of our games when we were up by this amount.
Yeah, the quality of the opponent, we're going to see all that, and we're going to get a chance for Colt to bust Claybo's chops here in a minute too.
Yeah, to add to Cole, I mean, we knew, we had a couple turnovers by now. We knew that they were, eager to get back on the field offensively. And like Cole said, we knew the game was far from over at this point.
So we get it back, 3:10 in the third. We get it back, got a good stop, 1st and 10. Now this play was, and like I mentioned earlier, Bergie didn't get enough credit for being able to run it. And we all, we didn't run you a whole bunch, but there were games where we ran you because you had a good feel for it. And so what we're going to do is we're going to get fake going here, but we're going to pull the two backside guys here. We're going to run quarterback counter into the boundary. And this is like what people have been doing the last 6, 7, 8 years or 5 years. So it's quarterback counter. Chase is the decoy. And we're going to watch our boy get out and go.
Who's pulling? Is that Russum?
So we've got
Go back.
Dow and Quinn pulling. So center and play
the diesel. Got it. Yeah, JD pulling in front of me. Yeah, we love this play.
Yeah, look, I mean, that was a really good offensive line now. Really good. The best we had. These guys were terrific. They're all big as hell. They're athletic.
And they're mean. They were all mean.
They wanted to hurt you.
Talking about mean, the memory I most recall about JD was I think it was this year, but it was Portland State. We were down in Portland State, and one of the linebackers something come up and hit me late, and JD just come running from about 15 yards away, and he knew he was going to get a personal foul, but he hit this dude so hard. He reached down, picked me up, and he looked at the guy, said, "Don't ever touch my running back again." And I thought, I was still pretty young and still kind of fighting for that, to secure the job. And I thought, holy cow, this guy is just meaner than hell.
Well, this was your first year as a collegiate running back, and that's I mean, those guys, that is a good bunch to be behind. So, hey, Bergie, you can talk to us about your acting job at the end of this, trying to get the 15. You were always good at that, too.
I'm just trying to help my team in any way possible, but I did think this guy held
there it is. I like it. He's begging for that's NBA stuff there.
What's Schulte telling you?
Get up.
Stay
We
down.
got to score.
Yeah, we got to score. So I like this play too, and we catch them in. You can see they're in they did what we expect them to do. They're in quarters coverage here, and into the boundary here. We run. That's a tight end there. Just flexed a bit, but we're going to run a little fish route. All he's going to do is run and try to step on the safety's toes right here, and then spot up, try to draw him, and then old Icy Mike Farrader is going to run the post route, and this is a great catch and a great throw.
Yeah, this is something that we worked on, I mean, every day for years. And, Coach Fennessy would say low in the front, keep the ball low in the front of the end zone, high in the back. And this is just it's an easy read, but it needs to be made quickly. If there's any hesitation by that safety, then you know that you can beat him over the top. And yeah, great route, great catch. And that's textbook right there.
That's high in the back, man. What a great throw and a great catch. And you could always count on Mike to hang on to it. It was cool being out there on the midfield before our game with Idaho State this year with Mike and Rob and you and Mark, man. That was awesome.
Oh, yeah, that was a great memory.
I appreciate the picture.
Of course.
Great throw, CB.
Thanks, buddy.
Only he can catch that.
Yeah.
Now they're in trouble. It's going to be 35-17. We're up 18. 3 scores, man. So we're up 3 scores here, and they drive it right down. So this is 2nd and goal from the 5, and we'll review this, Colt. But you go ahead and go through it. We watched we had a great defense this year. I mean, it was the best defense that we had, and the goal line stand in the rivalry game was huge. This one was every bit as big. They were 1st and goal inside the 5 here. So we're going to watch the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th down. Jace Palmer with a big play. They want to make this look like option, but it's really just quarterback zone. This guy could run. He was actually faster than the other guy. 4th and goal.
Man, huge plays.
Strength on strength. Just lead zone. This is basically the same play we've been sticking on them. No, thank you.
I forgot about that series.
Yeah, I kind of did too. Lost in all the other stuff. This was huge.
That was. Yeah, I mean, just like last week.
With one arm.
Who is that? Is that Beef?
Yeah.
Big old cast
And every
on.
blade of grass, and we did that.
If you look at, they're talking about Sean Lebsock here. Shoulder brace, cast, ankles taped up. I mean, there was not much left of him by the end of this one. I think we played 16 games, didn't we?
Yep.
Yeah, it was a lot that year.
Montana gets the stop and turns James Madison over on downs.
It's crazy in this game, too, because I was reading quotes from James Madison, their coaching staff after. He said he's never lost a game where they never had to punt. You guys just had huge stops, turnovers all game long. They never punted in the game, still beat them pretty good.
So this is the one, and the reason we got this in here is we're up 18 here if my Montana math is right, and we snap it over our punter's head, and it costs us. We're now within 2 scores of them. The game's, there's 8:28 left in the 4th. We're in good shape. We're moving the ball, and the thing about our snapper is he was banged up. And he gutted it out. Kevin Klebo went in there. He never had a bad snap. He was money in the bank. And then all of a sudden we get to here senior year, and this is what happens. And it just goes to show you, man, stuff can happen.
Holy cow.
I think he could have got that one. Yeah. He could have jumped up and had it if a little effort.
It hit the play. I think it hit the play clock through the upright.
It went through the goalpost.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how pissed were you right here, Coach?
Well, you're going to see it. You know, this is
caption that photo.
This is
what the hell?
This really is not the juncture to get pissed. It's like, okay, calm down.
Somebody needs to make that a GIF.
That needs to go viral. That GIF right there.
Right there. It's like that's the what the hell, man? You're perfect on the season.
Just imagine what Claybo's thinking running.
Oh,
back.
they're gonna, you know, as usual. They're now going to say, well, the head coach is the special teams coach. He screwed it up. And then they'll put the camera right in Claybo's face, too.
Maybe Claybo knew that, hey, field position, let's give him the 2.
Yeah, give him the 2. We'll kick off. That's right. Yeah. This is not a real smile. It's fake.
You good, man?
I mean.
Oh, he could have had that.
It goes through. They should have given us 3 for it going through the uprights.
Wow.
Oh.
Well, that's a play you can definitely laugh at now.
Oh, God.
In the bushes.
Like I said, he was good at it. You talk about a guy that could do everything, that guy right there. And, of course, they put the TV camera right in his face. And no one takes it harder than him. That guy wanted to win more than anybody on the team.
Yeah, he did.
So they get the ball, 8:18 left, and we hold them again, but then we get stopped, and they get it. Whoops, they get it back and score. So now there's 2:30 left, and we're only up 8. So they scored, and you remember the Sports Illustrated picture where the guy's flipping in the end zone, doesn't get it in there. So, and they give it to him anyway, right? So I had a hard time with the replay official in this game. Started with that 2-point conversion. Then there's like 7 out of 8 straight plays. We had a flag in a stretch there, but we get the ball back. We're doing all right. We go 3rd and 2. They think we're in 12 personnel. They think we're gonna pound them, and we run the boot.
Huge.
Wow, what a catch.
Dang.
It's probably not the receiver you thought I was going to go to at first.
Well, now I'm going to refresh your memory, man. This is the one that went to replay, and they called it back.
Oh, no way.
So we're going to see it here. Needed the replay official to uptick and have another shot at Geritol at halftime. I mean, I don't get it.
Oh, man.
So anyway, they called her back on us, which
that's reminiscent of a play that happened in this year's playoff game that I think was a little bit sketchy on the review too.
Oh.
So they go back. So we gotta. It's going to review. We've got to punt it, and 2 minutes left. They get the ball back. So, Bergie, you mentioned this earlier. This went from being a comfortable tail kicking to a little more tense.
Yep.
So we got them into 4th and 20, and
hey, we heard their quarterback, right?
Say it again.
This is their backup quarterback now, right?
Yeah. So we knocked Landers out of the game, and then they brought this guy in, and I thought he was money.
Yeah,
he was good.
I remember thinking the first guy went out saying, all right, now we got a chance. And then he was just slinging it and doing.
Well, and by us getting the big lead in the game, this guy was the better thrower. Yeah. So it actually probably played into their hands a little bit to have him in the game at this juncture. And he puts on the money. And then, as you can see, Swink does a nice job. He had the big pick at the end of the first half. He does a nice job of punching this ball out.
4th and 20. Wow, what a play.
How about that? And everybody knows we're going on.
There it is. Best play in football.
Yeah.
So they're talking about Mickey Matthews there. That is a fired up bunch. There's Dow. There's Bergie. So they're talking about Mickey Matthews.
Is that Jeff?
So yeah, I'm going to talk about this too. So that their head coach, it broke his heart to lose this game because it was his best team. He was there 12 years. It was he told me 3 or 4 times it was his best team. It still breaks his heart that we beat him. And I said, well, I love beating your ass at home. So yeah, so this lends itself to a great story. So there's your coach at the Rams. Yeah, all these guys coached you at the Rams, Chase. So there's Coach Fisher.
Is that McGinnis?
There's Dave McGinnis, former head coach of the Arizona Cardinals, and there's Chuck Cecil right there. So those guys were at the game. But one of my favorite memories was, I'll go back. 2 of my favorite memories from this game was we were up on them 14-10 at halftime, and usually at halftime the locker room was calm, and it was bedlam in our locker room at halftime. I mean, we made our adjustments in like 2 minutes, and everybody was in a sprinter stance trying to get out the door to go play them some more. That's when I knew we had a real good chance to get them, was at halftime. But then after the game, I laughed because these guys were in our locker room singing the fight song with us after the game, and I looked over, and Dave McGinnis here, the former head coach of the Arizona Cardinals, was the assistant head coach at the Titans at the time. I looked over in the corner, everybody's jumping around, and he's got President George Dennison in a headlock in the corner, jumping around like a couple of college kids, and I'm just like, holy cow, this is awesome. So
you play the game.
That is why you play the game, man. That was pretty cool. So anything else on that, fellas? Bergie, anything from you?
Is that your best game you ever played as a college player, Cole? Do you think, looking back on it, best game?
As far as performance-wise or how I graded, I really can't remember that. But now that, I was thinking it's, between 12, it's been over a decade since I've played these games. And like some of the ones that don't mean as much to you start to get a little fuzzy. But I remember this game for sure. So I would say I'll remember this one till I die for sure.
How about you, Colt?
No, definitely a game I'll remember for the rest of my life. It was, there's no better feeling than going into enemy's territory and getting that win and just seeing the fans. I mean, it was a packed house, and I mean, we showed up, and it was definitely a game I'll remember.
Chase, you were the workhorse. I mean, 170 yards a game is what you averaged in the last 9 games leading up to this. It was nuts going through all your numbers, but did you ever get tired? Were you ever fatigued by the end of this? How beat up were you afterwards?
Well, that's for me to know. Nobody ever knew, but no, that was kind of our motive. I mean, I was willing and able to take the ball, and I mentioned it last time. I mean, all I did was take the ball and run north and south. I mean, the guys that blocked in front of me and the wide receivers and everybody else as a collective group. I mean, I kind of had the easy job. All I had to do was get the ball and run. But yeah, I mean, it was, I looking back, definitely being the workhorse. I mean, I loved it. That's who I am. That's what I loved about the game. Going back to that play, I mean, really me as a player, my whole thought and process was to punish the guy next to me. And I knew at the end of 4 quarters that one of us had to give up, and I knew it wasn't going to be me. So it's kind of how I played my game. And I love, like I said, going back and watching these and, getting the ball and knowing that it's up to us as a team to go into a place like this. And I remember the atmosphere. I mean, Cole said at the beginning, this is probably the only atmosphere we ever played in that wasn't Washington Grizzly Stadium. But I think we fed off that, and man, it was a good win.
And there's something about singing your fight song on somebody else's field at the end of a big battle like this, because the fans that have traveled that far to come are your true fans, and you can recognize half the faces up in the stands, and so that one really gets etched in your memory as well.
Absolutely.
The only thing better than beating them at home is beating them on the road.
Yeah.
Hey, I got a quick story. So about Chase, a lot of people know that Chase Reynolds is the football player, but I think what really stuck out from a teammate perspective is is the amount of work he was willing to put in. So that I remember that summer, he was kind of in between a receiver, running back, and he was married with a kid then, and he would go work 40, 50, 60-hour shifts a week. Every night he would show up at the stadium in were you working for the highway department?
Yeah, I worked on the
Oh
road.
yeah, putting up cones.
Yep.
And he was just dirty, but he was so focused that he had to get his workout in, and he didn't miss a 7-on-7, didn't miss a lift, didn't miss a run. And so I think that, made the old lineman block harder. Say, hey, if this guy's willing to, put in that much work, we better do the same. And so, that's one thing I just thought about that sticks out. Chase never admitted he was tired, never said he was beat down, and those old linemen just kept feeding off it, and defense fed off the offense fed off the defense, special teams, and that's really what the season was all about. So
Game day was easy for Chase Reynolds.
Yeah.
We were tricking off at the river, and he was stripping off his orange reflective road gear, getting ready for
Right.
7-on-7.
Yep.
But yeah, man, kudos to you, Chase. I do remember that, and I'm so glad you brought that up, Colt, because until I've recently become a father in the last couple years, I didn't give you the credit that you deserved back then, dude. That's insane.
Unbelievable success story.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Coach, I can see why I said it at the top of why this is one of your favorite games. After watching the film with you guys, I can totally see why now.
They took it out of us on the trip home, so we left. I mean, this was a night game, right? So we didn't get out of there till after midnight East Coast time. The charter flew us back. We got about over Glendive, and then they turned us around and made us go back to Minneapolis. And we sat in the blizzard in Minneapolis for 2 hours while they got us a new flight crew, and we didn't get back till daybreak into Missoula. And then we had to turn around on Tuesday at noon and go back to Chattanooga. That was difficult, but this was one of the all-time great games in Grizzly history, and really appreciate you men spending an hour with us putting this together.
Thanks for having us on.
Yeah, thanks for having us, man. What a walk down memory lane. I appreciate it.
Go Grizz, man.
Still
Go
plenty
Grizz.
more to come. That was Grizz Classics Chalk Talk. Our thanks again to Chase, Cole, Colt, and Coach Hauck. We'll be back with you next week for more Grizz Classics Chalk Talk.